The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
Happy Halloween to everybody. This is the Brandon Peters Show, and today we'll be discussing the top 10 scariest Doctor Who stories that aren't Blink. And joining me for that discussion from Logan Arch, Alien Entertainment, and Chicago TARDIS, Taylor Deatherage.
Hi, everyone. Hello, how are you?
They told me they're doing good. So Taylor, thank you for coming on the show. And since you've never been on before, can you tell my listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Taylor Deatherage. I work with Chicago TARDIS, which is one of the biggest Doctor Who conventions that exists. We are in the largest in the Midwest, and it is a Doctor Who focused convention for people who like all eras of the series, all bits and pieces of it. I also work in my own small business called Logan Arch. We do conventions all across the US. I also work with Alien Entertainment, which is a small business that started Chicago TARDIS. And I do other work for conventions, communications, marketing, social media, for Capital City Comic Con up in Lansing, Michigan. And this is my second World Con I've been working on, the Los Angeles one in 2026. I've been on a one in the past, 2022, Chicago. So I love conventions. That is the summary.
They're fun. They wear you out, but they're awesome.
Yes.
They do. Yeah, and you are also featured in Fantastic, a celebration of fans discovering Doctor Who, just like me.
Yes. Shout out to Zeppo Publishing. There are so many great writers and people and fans in the Fantastic book. And if you don't know about it, I'm sure we could plug it in some notes or something here, but it is so great. And I just love hearing should say, everyone's perspectives on Doctor Who from their own point of view. It's super diverse and very, very cool and interesting.
It's like having a stack of paper that's a bunch of new friends and friends you know, like right there. Because I've been plowing through this thing, and I'm just like, it's addicting. In a way I didn't feel like, and I'm like, man, if somebody was ever like feeling alone or didn't think anyone else liked Doctor Who like them, they would find out they have like 106 friends in one book. It's
absolutely.
It's pretty cool. And I've been plugging that like crazy. So. Since there's a lot of Doctor Who material in my show this month, I decided why not cap it off here on Halloween with an episode I've been wanting to do for a while and a guest I've been wanting to have on for a while. So, two birds, one stone, as they say, I guess. But for those who aren't familiar with Doctor Who or don't keep up with it, Doctor Who is no stranger to the horror genre. In fact, it's one of its major strengths, and you'll find from its inception, one of the things people loved or kept them coming back is how it would make them scared. And the introduction of the Daleks also introduced the term behind the sofa, which refers to children hiding behind it to keep from the terror of the Doctor's most iconic foe. Taylor, what was the aspect from the show that you latched onto when first getting into Doctor Who?
Oh gosh. So I did tell this story a little bit in Fantastic, but I'm a very big lover of like science fiction shows, but like what we would now say older, but when I was young, they weren't even like I wasn't alive for some of them, just barely, or they were sort of things I remembered from when I was very young. And one day, a really close friend of mine, while we were on a train going somewhere, told me about the Ninth Doctor, the Return of Doctor Who, the new series coming back. And this is when it was on Sci-Fi Channel for, I think, only a year it was ever broadcast there before it went to BBC America. And he was so excited to tell me because he just knew how much I liked things like this. And I thought, okay, this sounds like I would want to watch this. I'm gonna go find out. And so I went and I found, I think it was like mid-season at that point. They had been airing the like Ninth Doctor Rose, season one, series one,
Hmm.
and just sort of consumed all the episodes I could. Um, and then kept watching and then was so hooked. I think it was a weekend of my time, in truth, in like a time span. I went and I tried to figure out where is the show right now because I quickly figured out, okay, we're a year behind in this. And then found out that he was going to regenerate into David Tennant. So was then watching both of the seasons concurrently as they were airing in
Oh, wow.
America. Yes, and I fell in love right away. It
It was
just
like you,
had a lot of the elements that I really like from science fiction.
gotcha. It was like you were
Yeah.
Godfather 2ing or
Yes.
something.
That's a great way of describing it. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So with me, something that attracted to, and I mentioned a little bit in Fantastic as well. Our lives are now defined by Fantastic. Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but
Maybe.
it's
Yeah.
been
Maybe we're just stuck in that. You know what? It's fine. If
it's
true, great. I'm okay with it.
there we go. For me, when I was a kid, I would infrequently watch on PBS, and
Hmm.
there was what attracted me to it was this unsettling eeriness I got from the combo of soap opera look to film and like the monsters of it.
Oh, sure.
Um, so, and I've always been like a horror person, and Doctor Who offered like lots of horror stuff to it, and I've come to find, growing up and then like reading more and learning more, watching documentaries that the eras people strongly like they love the Philip Hinchcliffe era of Tom Baker, which includes a lot of horror. Is one of the things too, and like a lot of people like being scared of monsters, and some people like it for history and sci-fi and stuff, but horror has always been one of those key elements with Doctor Who. And
Yes.
I thought, like, well, it's Halloween time. Why not do top 10 scare? I'm sure we're not the first people to come up with this, as I've seen some lists on various websites, like talking about Doctor Who, but some were just modern series, some were all classic, some combined. But all in all, this will be our list of it. But yeah, and then when it comes to Doctor Who, and not even just with genre or scary, but even best of all time, there's one episode that stands alone, and rightfully so. It argues to be not just for Doctor Who, but television's finest hours, uh, Blink. So,
Hmm.
su- such a given that it's on its pedestal, all its own, and we're gonna like let it have its own echelon and remove it from contention in our lists. But what are your thoughts on Blink? Are you watch it? You're gonna be like, no, I never liked it, but no,
No, I did
but
like it.
yeah,
That was, famously for so long if you were watching Doctor Who at the time. And I guess still now it sort of echoes, but when you're watching Doctor Who at the time and people were really getting into it, that was well, when it like hit the cultural zeitgeist, it was like late
hmm
David Tennant, early Matt Smith. People would always say, if you want to get people into this, watch Blink, right? I don't know how
hmm
many times I've heard that.
oh
I'm
yeah,
sure if you're listening and you know this, you've heard that also a million times. I love it. I think it did do Carrie Mulligan a lot of favors for
hmm
her becoming a larger star in, media now. Um, she's amazing. So we know this. And the episode itself is just a beautiful science fiction story.
hmm
If you take away the Doctor Who element of it, like the Doctor's out of it, Martha's out of it, it's a really nice short story format of something that you can consume. And I love it. I think it's I don't want to say a perfect episode because that might be contentious with some people, but I do think it could be a perfect episode of Doctor Who.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got. I
Yeah.
mean, when you look at it, like even if you're the biggest like contrarian anti-Blink person, but like you step outside yourself and realize, yeah, at large, if someone's gonna name what are the 5 best Doctor Who episodes ever, I'm gonna, no matter the age of the person, I'm gonna bet Blink appears in majority of them, just because it's toned that way. And you're right, like it's such a easy, because it's a horror sci-fi tale on its own, like without the
Yes.
Doctor. It is what they call a Doctor Light episode, and it's
Right.
probably the best example of the Doctor Light episodes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Yep.
yeah, it's a self-contained horror tale, and if the Doctor didn't even show up in it, it was still quite good. And it really it doesn't deal too much in time travel either. That's the element that the Doctor is in, because he's coming from a future on a television screen or a
Yes.
DVD to
Yep.
tell. But I mean, yeah. So I respect. I loved the hell out of Blink when it aired. I still love the hell out of Blink, but I'm also like, hey, let's not be boring and give the same answer for one of the scariest. So, and it was funny. So, throughout this episode, as Taylor and I make our selections for our top 10, prior to recording this, I was at Doctoberfest weekend in Canby, Indiana, and I was asking for that in an episode upcoming on the show. I was asking people who attended that the questions from the Fantastic book, so they could, have some involvement, and Nick can get some audiobook stuff for it. But some of the people who appear in the book were on the recordings, and some who didn't, and were just learning of the book, got to record their own. I also asked them what they thought their top scariest story of Doctor Who was that wasn't Blink. And I'll tell you what, the funniest thing was when I'm asking them the question, and I said, what is the scariest story of Doctor Who? And I see the confidence in their eyes, and I say, that isn't Blink. And they're like, oh man. Yeah, it was hilarious. And people will see that in this episode if you're watching on YouTube, I will be putting those video clips in, and you'll get to see the look of distraught nature in their eyes as they realize, oh man, he threw away my answer, or they laugh because they understand. So
Yes. Yeah.
So pretty fun stuff. Okay, so our picks, we are going to do it like a draft, where back and forth picks cannot repeat each other's answers, just so we don't have the same ones and it goes really quick. That's
no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we started, I've done, me and some other podcasts I've been on that have done lists like that have moved to draft recently, because there's a lot of repeating, or someone's number 10 is your number 3 pick, and you're like, get to number 3, well, we already talked about it, and it was really high up. So we can both discuss these as we pick them on each ones, and it's not harming anybody. And this is not a competition, but I mean, if you want, if you're in the comments or on social media and want to say, oh, well, Taylor's list is stronger than Brandon's, then go for it. But this is just fun to share the love of horror and Doctor Who together in this month of October, as some like to call it, spooky season.
Yes. We love that. They do say that.
So Taylor, I'm going to defer to you to take the number 1 pick, unless you don't want it, but you may make the first one.
I'm going to be a jerk.
Oh, okay.
and subvert kind of what we're not saying, and say Flesh and Stone would be my pick over Time of the Angels, but Flesh and Stone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any backing to it?
This is the first Doctor Who episode that ever gave me nightmares.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know why. This is to me, I think a lot of people who were we had a 2-parter with this. So Blink, obviously.
we will count
Right.
this as a 2. We will count both episodes as your
Great.
pick. That's fine.
The real climax comes in Flesh and Stone, but Time of the Angel starts it out. Um, the I think a lot of the tension and the idea of what the Weeping Angels were obviously was built up in Blink. And people coming into this episode were very primed to see something that was heightened and scary and interesting. And it does turn it up in that second part specifically. I really also like the well, I don't want to I'll go into horror tropes as well. Like the idea of like the final girl idea, right? We can apply the final girl thought process to Amy in these
Mm-hmm.
episodes if we want to. And she is debilitated, just like in any other movie where you're getting like you can see that trope of a final girl, you can see that character. We can identify her, who she is. She is struggling through this plot to get out of of the danger and remove herself from mortal peril. And this episode to me has so many great elements of what a horror movie or like an episode of a different show that isn't Doctor Who necessarily would have. You have a dead man talking over, a radio that he's not there anymore, but the angels are taking his body, his entity, and saying, "Well, we'll use your voice, but you're dead." Right? You're just gone. This is the main character is debilitated in a way that she has to get out of a very bad situation. And I think it does set itself up with a lot of bullet points that you can draw parallels to in horror films that are very popular. And I love it. I rewatch this episode, both of them, all the time. It also gave us Jacket Doctor, which, yeah, which I love that theory. It's so silly that ended up being a real thing. That was one of those theories that on like Tumblr and the internet in Tumblr at the time, but the internet in general was very excited about, and that did pay off for us. So it's a little Doctor Who specific Easter egg in this episode.
Gotcha. That's an excellent point. I just recently watched that 2-parter.
Yeah.
And I've been revisiting some Matt Smith recently and went through that. I got through that one. Excellent. Way to start it off. The angels weren't in. We didn't have Blink, but the angels are definitely present. They're a creepy force. My first pick, I'm going to go with Waters of Mars. The special. There's a lot of should Journey's End have ended Tennant's time, and these specials just kind of dilly-dallied, but Waters of Mars made it all worth it in my eyes. This is a really creepy story with introduces this like virus called the Flood, and it's really these people get really creepy faces. It's got good lighting. That's terrifying. You even get, I think part of it too is the Doctor kind of goes against himself. He's not as to his mission statement as he was, and you're kind of like, it's a little bit more reckless as he hits a fixed point and has his own rules with it, and we see him break them here as he saves a crew that was supposed to die, but and it's got this dark ending where he brings them back to Earth and it's like, haha, look, and they all end up dying. Well, the woman, the captain on this ship was supposed to die in it and inspired her granddaughter to be an important astronaut, and she ends up committing suicide instead of blowing up on the ship. But and it's also got a lot of elements that remind me of, have you seen the early 70s film Silent Running?
No, but I know what it is. I've never seen it. Yes.
It's like Gardner in space goes kind of mad when things go awry for him.
Oh.
But he's not. It's not like slashery horror movie, but they're trying to. They're in a space station, and he's got this huge garden and stuff to keep the oxygen and stuff, and they're getting rid of it, and he gets picked on and stuff, and he's not too happy about it. But kind of reminded me of that a little with the setting. But yeah, I really like this one. It's definitely, if you're looking for creepy alien makeup possessed things, these are really unique and really utilizes water in a scary way that I think J horror was popular at the
Yes.
time. It was
Okay.
kind of, we were kind of getting away from it, but this is the closest Doctor Who element I can think of that would fit with that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point about the J horror. That's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
true. Yeah.
So, okay, that's my number 2 pick, Taylor. Or that's my number 1 pick. Taylor, what is your number 2?
My number two, and I was struggling to figure out what my two was going to be, but it's going to be 73 yards
Oh,
from,
nice.
yeah. This episode to date, probably just the last time I was on the edge of my seat in a Doctor Who episode that I can think of, which is why I picked this one. Um, it is so. This is an episode that people still argue about as well online, which I think is great. In a nice way. Debate about what did it mean? What was the thought process behind it? But it is truly a terrifying folk horror inspired episode because you have the elements of like fairy circles, pagan horror ideas, which, we've seen that in many different ways um, in the last few years with stuff like Midsummer and just like historically with Wicker Man. And you think about how our character we personalize the Doctor and the companion in any season. Like we start to identify with them. And seeing Ruby just absolutely stealing herself over time, it's sort of somewhere between just straight horror and existential dread, right? Where I feel
Mm-hmm.
like more and more time we go into the future with horror themes, existential dread is a large theme that gets talked about, played out. People discuss it. I am one of those people that is an existential dread and horror person that I think I'm drawn to more existential dread as a horror theme. And they knocked it out of the park with this episode. Um, and then it just resolves. Kind
Yeah,
of.
kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of. We're not sure. What we hope that it is. But it is such a uh, it's so heartbreaking and also just perilous
Mm-hmm.
episode for a companion. And I really do think this is what drove a lot of people, including myself, to love Millie Gibson in the role of Ruby. I loved her before. She was great. This is, I feel like, what solidified people into seeing that her character was just amazing for this show, the role. Um, and she endured so much. Like every companion that really wants to stick with the Doctor, they endure a lot, and I arguably think she endured some of the most that we see in the new series specifically.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
acts wise beyond her years.
Hmm.
Really. And
Yep.
this is for sure my favorite episode of the 15th Doctor's first season. It might be overall too. I don't know. I'd have to think
Sure.
about some things because I really liked this one when it came out. And yeah, I like all the folk horror aspects you're talking about too with it, and especially that little tavern, the way the people act there, and
Mhm.
yeah, that one opened up, and I'm like, I am into this. And then it like added other elements and stuff, and just the
Mhm.
horror of like everyone talking to the woman in the distance and running away was just that was
Yep.
fantastic. And even when it gets even Kate Stewart, it
Yeah.
gets her.
Yes.
You're like, oh no, what is
She's supposed to
happening?
be unshakable. Yeah, we love Kate because she's unshakable. She's supposed to be. I love her. I refer to her as Mommy Kate. That's how I
Hmm.
talk about Kate Stewart, which is very silly, I realize. But I'm like, she is so, yes, she is the person. We don't have anyone else right now.
Hmm.
You're gonna go to her. She's gonna fix it for you or address it or figure it out. If she can't do it, what are you doing?
Hmm.
You're just, yeah, you're probably in real trouble at that point. So yeah. And that's very sad as well because it's like an abandonment of anyone who understands Ruby as well, which again, existential dread. A lot of people having sort of like the removal from society, right? Ruby experiences that nobody understands her. This is, isolating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't care if the resolution to this makes sense or not. It was earned, and
Hmm.
and I like the. I don't know if I fully understand this aspect. I know it drives some people nuts, but I kind of like those things that like my brain likes to work out, and maybe my brain can't work out, and
Yep.
I do enjoy that when it's well written and has presented a story that earns it. That's yeah, and this was something that I felt was quite unique to that shooting out was Doctor. This is a Doctor Light episode again,
Hmm.
but something unique to his that I don't think the others have something like it. I mean, we have Turn Left, but
Sure.
that
Yeah.
play it does that one plays past events without the Doctor. This one, I mean, goes a little further and different, but I feel like this one's in a different way than that one. But yeah, I like that pick.
Absolutely.
I do
Thank
like that
you.
pick.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. My second pick. I'm gonna go a little bit newer too. Not quite as new and fresh as yours, but I am gonna go with the 13th Doctor story, The Haunting of Villa Diodati.
Yes, that's a great one. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not only does it deal in meeting Mary Shelley, a historical figure, so this one's all wackadoo. It's like historical fiction stuff, but it also is part of my favorite kind of Doctor Who story that's kind of out there, metaphysical, weird. And I'm like every new Doctor, I'm like, I hope I get one story from them. Like my favorite Troughton is the Mind Robber, and so and
Sure.
stories like I'm a Ghostlight fan because it brings those elements. So I I like this one because it has this weird thing where the house is shifting around, doing weird things. There's the introduction of Ashad, the lone Cyberman, and he's scary. I don't care
Hmm.
what people say. And he comes into this thing, standing in for like a Frankenstein's monster, but he's walking around. There's like a baby in there. There's like, oh no, don't harm the baby. Um, and he's just spooky. And we were warned about him earlier in the season, and we're like, oh, cool, we know Cybermen and stuff. But then here comes this guy with half the face. He's rusted. You can see him through the mask. He's speaking creepy, and it's intense. Like this is an intense episode of Doctor Who, and I always have to give Chris Chibnall credit because he made the Cybermen scary again. Because this guy
Hmm.
Ashad, and then the following two-parter, they were not just like, oh, they had an element of terror to them that wasn't just like, hey, this is action sci-fi stuff. That was like Terminator-esque creepy sci-fi to them. And it starts here by setting the tone with Ashad, who we don't we don't know what he's coming for. We don't know what the deal is yet. But yeah, this whole haunted, like weird house thing, and I really just visually, this one's really neat, and I think this is like a nice little horror tale. Granted, it ends on a cliffhanger, so it's not like a hey, you can hop right in. It's a cliffhanger that's not the completion of this story, I should say, because it's not like, oh, the next part they do this. No, the next part jumps into a whole nother story that's part of the season arc. But for a stop in the middle of this season, I truly do like this story a lot. Might be my favorite 13th Doctor story of all. Not sure, but if I had the conversation, it would be coming up instantly.
Yeah, it's definitely in like the top 5 for me. So I could
Mm-hmm.
see that for like I feel like the elements are the narrative elements, the horror elements. If you like Gothic literature, obviously, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of bullet points for people who like other things, and you can cross them over with that. And that's really good. That's a really good episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Larry Van Mersbergen. I'm the host and producer of the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. The scariest story of Doctor Who that scared me was Genesis of the Daleks. Because the Dalek voices were so piercing and so the music was so dark that it was a jump behind the couch moment when I was a kid.
My name is Lauren Ritz. Well, go back to Classic Who and The Deadly Assassin. I am 36 years old. I cannot look at the screen when the cadaverous master is on screen. It scares me, and I just can't watch. I'll listen to it. I can't look at it.
I am Avery Eller. It's not Blink. Oh, that's not fair. It's got to be... It might be Midnight. I think it's got to be Midnight.
Hi, I'm Wendy Swain. I think for me the scariest, maybe not so much scary, but sad scary is the oot, and when they have to hold their brain in their hands, and they the communication of the breakdown of communication. It's just how they have to communicate like that is just so sad, and for me that was kind of scary. Sad scary.
My name is Rob Warnock. For me, I would say probably Impossible Planet Satan Pit. I watch a lot of horror movies, so I don't get scared easily. That was probably the only story that parts of it actually kind of creeped me out a little bit.
Quite a bit. All right, what is your third pick?
My third pick. Mine it's terrible because mine are not in any specific order necessarily after a point. But my third pick is Listen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember watching this episode and truly being very, very on the edge of my seat, very scared about what we were going to learn. And then it is sort of maybe this is unfair. It's sort of anticlimactic resolution, but they do a really good job of making you invested in the story due to the suspense, and then they're giving us really important information that we should know narratively, and I like that. I think that's not done a lot in media in general, where we're getting a very essential part of the Doctor's story, and if you set it up differently, perhaps people wouldn't be as invested in it, as thoughtful of it, or I don't know, just kind of, we're getting another piece, because how many times have they told us Gallifreyan adjacent stories over the years and stuff has changed? I do see the exhaustion of that in the fandom in certain people, certain places, but I really do applaud how they presented this story, because it is a very well narratively presented story, and then we get a great payoff, in my opinion, to it that really doesn't have anything to do with the way that they told us the story in the first place. I think it's very genius. And then, of course, you have characters in the story also creating the environment that sets this up, and it's sort of meta in a way as well.
Yeah.
And so I think, I think it's very smart. I think it's underappreciated and very smart.
Yeah, for sure. It's really, I mean, it's one that presents like there's a not Danny Pink person in here, but
yeah,
like,
Orson, yeah.
Yeah, Orson.
He's there.
But it presents new people and like careful conversations with them in an like discomforting fashion. We're like, what are we trusting that? Like, very like I feel like the Doctor and Clara have to be delicate around these people, and that adds some of the tension to it, which is kind of brilliant. And plus, it's really got this dark, moody look to it as well. But yeah, that was on my list for potential 12th Doctor picks, obviously. But yeah, that is
it's really good.
Very good. Yeah, that is a good one. I like that. It's a very good pick. For my next pick, I'm gonna go classic Who.
Okay. Yes.
I'm gonna jump classic, and I'm gonna go with the first Doctor story.
Okay.
And it's not the Daleks, because I know that's the one that scared all the children in 1963, and I appreciate that. But like for me, I'm like, it's I didn't see it at the right time. But the one that followed it, the one that was a throwaway thing because in the original episode order they had 2 left and they kept it in the TARDIS,
right?
Which maybe filler to the person at the time, but these 60 plus years later, I appreciate it. It's the Edge of Destruction. This one has all the TARDIS team, the original team of the first Doctor, Barbara, Susan, and Ian enter the TARDIS, and they all come down with a case of amnesia, not knowing who anyone is, and they all sort of kind of lose their minds. They don't trust each other, and it's really eerie. And like I said, that weird soap opera effect and the music from it really adds to it. And I always remember, and I don't forget, like the best thing from this to show anybody and be like, yeah, that's kind of freaky, is when Susan has the scissors ready to stab, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And the look on Carol Ann Ford's face and the way I'm just like, that is otherworldly, creepy, and just oof. Unsettling. And I've always, that one ever since the first time I saw it has stuck with me. And it's mainly, they have these intense, angered conversations because they're frustrated with their memories, but who are these people too, and trying to figure out if there's some comedy in it too, because they don't know who each other are, and they're trying to assume who they were beforehand. But when Susan looks all psycho in that is like, just when they talk about Doctor Who being scary back in the day, I think of that, not the Dalek plunger coming at Barbara. But that's what I come up with, is the Edge of Destruction. Which could have been the end of Doctor Who. That if Doctor Who failed, that would have been the end of Doctor Who. Would have been the Edge of Destruction.
That's
which
it.
I think the Brink of Disaster is the second part. That would have been it. That could have been the end. But thankfully, it's not. So
we should all be grateful, because that would be such a weird place to leave off. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Very true.
Oh yeah. That's a good choice.
So what is your next pick?
My next pick is Brain of Morbius.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think about this, the whole serial, right? Like the whole thing. But I think about it because it does have like a Frankenstein element to it. It has really weirdly revealing elements that we don't know what this is. We have now modernly, we're like, okay, maybe that has something to do with the fugitive doctor. All the theories of that. But it's a very, if you like a, not so much body horror, but I feel like it is very like a body horror type thought process. If you're into that kind of horror, it really does lend itself to that. And of course, Morbius is they're constructing an artificial body for him. So that is very horror element. There's so much going wrong in this serial. That is so, yeah, it's a lot. And I love how a lot of people consider this one of the great Fourth Doctor narrative pieces, and it is. It's just so funny to me because I think about how very horror science fiction narrative this is as a horror thing and science fiction crossover, and think, yeah, that makes sense why people are why they're thinking about this the way that they are. And yeah, I just think it's a really good example of, there's others, I have others in my list, but like a body horror type story with Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got.
And and first time we ever hear about Sisterhood of Karn. I almost forgot about that. Yes.
So we kind of, if you have to put things in core generic term, you got you got a Frankenstein story, and you've got witches at the same time, and then you got possession. You've got it's got everything, and
it's got everything. It's like Stefan from Saturday Night Live.
Right.
We have everything. We have witches.
We have
body horror.
Yes. Oh, I would love to see him do that.
Yep.
Oh. And this is the episode I always point. Oh man, when they did the Timeless Child and there were people complaining, I'm like, "What do you think of Brandon Morbius?" And they're like, "Oh, it's one of the best ever." I'm like, "Oh, is it? Is it?"
Did you remember? Do you remember that there's a whole sequence in there?
Yeah, there's a whole sequence. Did kind of the same thing. It's it's so the old stuff is allowed to do stuff the new stuff can't do. It's always bugged me. I'm like, why? Why is it? I'm like, oh. So yeah, that's a gripe for a different conversation. But yeah, Brandon Morbius is
so serious about this, people. We can have fun theories and we can talk about this. We can all have our headcanon, our fanon. We can all do that in this life.
Right. Yeah.
It's cool.
And I'm like, the show's called Doctor Who, and they made the Doctor a mystery again, and you're mad. So, okay.
Why are you, we are all here for this. If you're not here for this, I don't know. You can think about it. It's okay.
Yes. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Funny stuff. Okay. So I am, for my next outing here, I'm gonna go with an 11th Doctor story myself called The God Complex.
Yes.
So this one, it's kind of funny that they do the God Complex, and then the Angels Manhattan also does a hotel thing. Kind of, it's I guess hotels are good settings for horror, but this particular hotel does crazy stuff. Not too far from my Haunting of Villa Diodati thing, but rooms change throughout. There's a minotaur at the center of all this, and this hotel has rooms that are based on people's fears. People give in to them. It's just willy-nilly silly, and with the horror stuff, it's pretty loose with it, but I like the unpredictable nature of this shit. I want to go in this hotel for some reason. I can't tell you why. I don't want to face my fears, but I want to try to get out of this maze of a hotel. But that's sort of the it'd be like the cool haunted house to go to this year or something.
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like you're coming. I feel like one of the things, because you brought up the 113 Doctor episode you were talking about. I'm like, I feel like I'm hearing Stephen King's Rose Red in your.
Yeah, there you go. I've only
Some
seen the
Rose Red
I've only seen the
elements.
mini series of that. I've never read the
Oh my
book.
God, the miniseries is great though. That's a formative memory, core memory in my mind. Truly,
Yeah,
yes.
I worked
Yep.
on the DVD for that, and that's how I saw that one. So
Wow. Oh my
yeah,
God. Wow.
yeah.
There you go.
So yeah. So and there's a lot of there's a lot of drastic measures that the Doctor has to take in this one as well. So you really feel like, oh, this is the one, they're getting to them. They're getting to them all. Amy, Rory, and the Doctor. It's, stress and all that. But if you're looking for intensity to ramp up and another kooky hotel-esque place, look no further than the God Complex.
Yes. When that episode came out, I remember it weird, like it was not a divisive episode from what I remember. It was very much a, oh God, this is depressing, and oh God, this is a really good, well-crafted story. And so yeah, that's an amazing pick for horror adjacent, because if you have the audience responding like that, you've done something right in the way of horror. Yes.
Yeah. It's from. What are your feelings on season 6? Quickly, because I like season 6, and I know that one has
Me too.
hits and misses with that. I'm a big fan of the 11th Doctor, Amy, Rory TARDIS. That's probably my favorite TARDIS team of the modern era. I just think they all, actors, character-wise, click really well, and I didn't mind that second season, which I know is up and down with people, but oh well.
Yeah, I love Series 6 truly, and they are literally a family. So we love that for them. But yeah, it's got, oh God, yeah, it had like that season. I remember watching it and just being on the edge of my seat all the time, because so many I feel like this was the narrative that Steven Moffat was giving when that was happening was very well crafted. You like the Impossible Astronaut, just everything. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about that time and thinking about, oh my God.
Right.
I understand why so many people got into Doctor Who at that time. I had been watching it for some time at that point, but like, oh my God, yes, absolutely.
I wasn't expecting after Tenet left for it to be like to jump up notches even.
Yep.
And if spoiler for Fantastic, but my pick for a modern Who starting point is 11th Hour, which is a lot of people's picks because it's such a good introduction. But Impossible Astronaut is such a good, you're going to keep watching this beyond this season. So yeah.
You will wonder, you will have thoughts, you will want to know. And it sets up so much now of what we know now to be like Doctor Who, like really substantial parts of Doctor Who canon with River and everything like that. And so you cannot ignore it. It's wonderful. I think it was very much a good time to be in the cultural zeitgeist of Doctor Who. I will say that. Yes.
It was when I found out all the people I lived in Los Angeles when the David Tennant era was going on, and I was trying to tell everybody this is the best show on TV. You gotta watch it. Nobody would watch it. And then I moved to Indianapolis during when the specials were running, and then I found out, once Matt, and then like I noticed because we all had Facebooks and stuff, and I was like, oh, now you all watch this? I had been telling you all.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So very cool. So okay, your fifth pick, your halfway choice.
Okay, The Doctor Falls is my fifth pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit of Rachel Talalay. We're gonna go a little more body horror. We're gonna go Bill Potts because I love her so much. I think this has a lot of elements of like a perfect Doctor Who story, or a two-parter, let's say, because it is a two-parter. But this specific episode really drives home Bill dying, being converted to a Cyberman, the processing of that, the Doctor holding off his regeneration, just so much angst. And I feel like we were talking about gothic horror inspired story before, and that is an element of horror, obviously, but also just rapid change, shock. This so much of this, and Cybermen are always a huge driver of a horror element to me, as are Daleks are obviously
Mhm.
people think of Daleks as that, but Cybermen, I feel like Cybermen are scarier than Daleks to me.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
I agree, and
Yes.
I think prior to the modern series version of them, I thought the Santarans were pretty scary looking. But when they turned them in these little short guys that have a complex, but I thought once again, Chris Chibnall made the Santarans a bit scarier again. But like when that first, I think one of the most haunting things I've seen in Doctor Who is the Time Warrior for the first cliffhanger when the helmet comes off and he turns and looks and you're like, whoa, what is that thing? That is creepy. I think the Santarans are scary. But yes, Cybermen much scarier than Daleks for sure.
Yeah, I think I should probably be scared of the Daleks more than I am, but I just am not for some reason. But yeah, I think it's so sad, and it's very shocking because Bill is figuring out this is when she knows, and the Doctor is, well, he tries to hide it from her, but then cannot successfully hide it from her because when they're in the barn and the one child at the solar farm is saying to her like, this is who you are, and it's just you love Bill. I love Bill. Bill is very relatable to me as a person.
I love Bill Potts, and I was like, really, they're gonna do this to her?
I know.
I was like, oh my, this is horrifying.
It's really, I was angry, and then she did get an okay ending. It wasn't all like barrier gay, says the thought process, because I'm queer, and I love Bill Potts because she's a really great queer character, representative to like a queer population very well, in my opinion, and they did do at the end, it was good. But this, I was like, oh God, this is so upsetting for a lot of reasons. And
she felt like the most like innocent of any of the modern series companions. Like, just like, okay, and then boom, horrifying end. Like, well, but I mean, they have the air quote fingers happy ending for it, but it's like, it's like, it was, but it adds to the terror of it, and your emotional attachment to Bill just ramps it up. And it's like, oh my gosh,
like, I don't want her to be this thing, and then she is. Oh yeah. Oh God.
And they have all the like hospital stuff, like it's
before
a nightmare.
World Enough in Time. Yes. Oh God.
Yeah, I count this as count this as a two-parter. Yeah.
That's fair. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just so. It's so bad. It's so bad. So bad. Yeah, but we thankfully, if you're gonna have a double master story, I guess you're gonna ramp it up in that way. You're gonna have high emotional stakes throughout. So we got that. But yeah, I do think this is truly a terrifying episode, a double episode.
Right.
Yeah, of the 12th Doctor era. Yeah.
Yeah, I had that one down as well. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it's fine. This is why we do the draft. It's fun. It's like
Fair.
we get to talk about it anyway. So, it's good stuff. I am going to go with my pick is going to be the Fourth Doctor story, The Seeds of Doom, which is also my favorite Fourth Doctor story. I would say, in particularly, the first 2 episodes of this 4-parter because it is basically John Carpenter's The Thing with
Yes.
Doctor Who. But it predates John Carpenter's The Thing. But it is in this little Antarctic base, and there's a plant substance like eating up people's body or taking over, making them kill people. And then there's this assassin within the base, and it is empty, like, you know, like just a couple people in the cast, and the makeup work on it is awesome. It's gross, it is creepy, and it really works out. And then, you know, you get through this story with, like, you know, this giant plant monster in the end and stuff like that, and it's engaging throughout. Like, Robert Holmes wrote a really good 6-parter, and it was one of the best structured ones because he made like a 2-parter first that attaches to it, and then the other 4 parts. So it's not like you're watching this lengthy 6-part thing that doesn't really change. This one completely changes its settings from part 2 to part 3. But part 1 and 2 is just this insular claustrophobic terror in the snow. So even if you go outside, you're kind of stuck, and there's this like plant alien overtaking bodies and this mystery, and you get to see the Doctor doing, you know, science investigation, you know, things like that. Sarah Jane's terrific. But yeah, this story is my favorite 4th Doctor story, and I'm still waiting on my damn season 13 to get here from the UK so I can watch the Blu-ray, the new Blu-ray of it. But I like it a lot. And I mentioned to you off air that I had an entire season in my possibilities list.
Yes,
season 13 is that one. So
that makes sense.
I have picked one from it. Will I pick another? Stay tuned. But but we have 2 of it. We have 2 of them already from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have 2 of them already. Yes.
Yeah, Brain of Morbius and Seas of Doom, and it's that good of stuff. So that's my halfway point 5th pick. So
spoiler alert from me: the other 4th Doctor episode I have on my list is not in that season.
Oh, okay. I've got a few that aren't either, so yeah.
Right.
From my options to pick, I have a list of stuff I want, and then there's like other options in case they're picked. So, we're going good.
Hi, my name's David Steele. I live in Glasgow in Scotland, and Brandon has asked me to nominate a scary Doctor Who story that isn't Blink. Now, I grew up in the UK in the 70s and 80s when Doctor Who was a regular part of the TV furniture, like Blue Peter and Nationwide and Crossroads and Top of the Pops. It was always on. But I have very clear and formative memories of the crossover period between Graham Williams and Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes and all that sort of stuff. And I have many memories of being scared and cowering and hiding behind the chair from stuff like Sontarans and Magnus Greel and the Horse and the Gas Mask and the Deadly Assassin, The Clown Under the Sand, which I could have nominated that one. I could have had Full Circle because I had bad dreams about the Marshmen for years. Andrew Smith knows this, which is cool. But my nomination is The Invisible Enemy. Because when you're 4 years old, and after a few weeks of the Doctor and Leela shrinking and people with weird stuff in their eyes, and there's this sort of shower cabinet thing, and this weird glowing golden grey creature with fronds and tentacles that is woggling and waving and wibbling and growing as the sound effects are playing and the music crashes in. It was terrifying. I have never eaten a prawn in my entire life. So, out of many things, Doctor Who's affected my choice of seafood consumption. So yes, The Invisible Enemy, my nomination. Terrifying.
My name's Fiona. Did everybody else say that one? Empty Child, maybe. It's a little bit like body horror almost, with the whole like face, the child's face that is the gas mask, and then the "Are you my mummy?" It's really haunting.
Hi. Hey, my name's Dan Ragazzi. Any of them have giant spiders? I am not a fan of spiders.
Danny. Ooh, I'm forgetting it. The one at the forest library thing. Okay. The darkness. I'm forgetting the name of it. The Vashta Nerada, or something like that. But the Silence in the Library one.
What is the scariest episode or story of Doctor Who that isn't Blink?
Ooh, scariest one. For me, the Clockwork Girl, I thought that was a little bit on the scary side, just because well, I can't give away any spoilers, but for certain reasons, it was quite scary.
So,
Love.
yeah. So you may go ahead.
Okay, my next one is gonna be The Well.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Shocking. Maybe shocking. Obviously this is the sequel or spiritual successor. I don't know what we're going with, but I think it is the sequel to Midnight, which is the Midnight entity in Ncuti's recent season. And I actually thought that this episode was very well done. And I know a lot of people were I understand that maybe they wanted more from this episode, but I feel like it was very, very well executed, especially as a follow-up to an episode we've seen before that was considered, I will remind people, also contentious at the time because so many people really hated Midnight when it did come out as an episode. And I thought they did The Well very well. I felt like there were very core, like alien elements to this episode where you have people very isolated. You have people isolated in space. You're trying to understand why everybody died. You have a single survivor that is around this entity somehow, that is very traumatized and witnessing other people killing each other because of it. And that's just so horrifying as a thought process. I think it is like a very well thought out sequel to Midnight. Right? But I feel like that just underplays it in some way. I do honestly think it can stand on its own as an episode, even if you've never seen the 10th Doctor episode. But I do consider this to be probably one of the better horror episodes of New Who. Truly. Yes.
And it's one of the best of the 15th Doctor. Like, this one was
I agree.
awesome. Like, contingently. When right now we are living in that this is the most recent one season.
Yes.
And 2 Doctors. So we won't really know how people feel about it until we get another Doctor, or new Doctor, and season for them to hate for the current time and be like, I wish it was like back then. It's like you were complaining back then. Do you not?
You didn't like it.
While I am refreshed to see more praise and kind words about the Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker era going on right now.
Same.
I'm also like, where were all of you? And I know some of you were hating back then, and now you're nostalgic for it. I'm like, I get welcome. That's nice, but like, I was enjoying it as it was happening. So, okay. Like, because I see cycles of I love fans. I am a fan. I enjoy being with other fans, but it's mostly online. Let's be honest. It's mostly the online people that don't go out. They don't leave their house.
It's chronically online. It's chronically online. Chronically online. Yeah.
And people think you're taken more seriously if you're against something or overly critical than if you're praising. I have noticed that, but it's so cyclical how they act, and it's like, okay. But like in person, I talk about this a lot, like, because you do conventions and stuff, and not that everybody in person is always, they're just pristine, proper, and great, but like the majority of people are friendly, kind about, they love the thing you're talking about. So but yeah, it's mostly the online people, but yeah, it's like we'll get around there, but but I'm sure somebody's, and it'll take some people who are kids right now watching Ncuti Gatwa to grow up and then rewrite the story on how it should be looked upon for them. And I tell everybody, every time there's a new Doctor that happens or a new showrunner, you have moved one step away from the key demographic. that they're going for.
Yes.
Just realize it. It's always for you, but it's not squarely aimed at you, and it's okay. It's okay.
Absolutely.
And new and different is okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. You got to learn. I'm gonna learn. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And
You
I
can
also
do it.
I also try to tell the old people that like every doctor, like there's the Doctor Who canon, but then every doctor has their own canon. That's that rules that might only apply to that doctor. Is like I don't know, whatever helps people. I don't know. Enjoy.
Yeah. Just do it. Yeah, I also one other thing I want to say is I think it shows how like you can bring in like diversity into a horror like a horror episode, a horror element, a horror movie. I don't think we see that a lot because we have a death character obviously, and that's a huge point. I think we're not seeing that modeled, and we can't see that modeled unless we have media that models it for others, and then it gets passed down. And obviously Doctor Who is extremely influential in that way, where it is a very old show that is on like a major streaming service, but major network in a large country that is known. And if you have that kind of representation, it can be that can be an example for other things. And obviously there are other programs and other streaming services and like production companies that do this, but I think like the visibility of Doctor Who is very big. So having that is super important, and just like not just because you're having it, but because it can be in different, you're just applying it to a genre that's really cool and interesting, and like a horror element and everything like that. It can exist no matter what you do.
And my daughter, when she saw The Well, she perked up because and thought the doctor was, because he was doing sign language. And my daughter had been learning. She's not deaf, but she wanted to learn sign language and stuff, and uses it and thinks. I was like, oh wow, that's cool. So. Like even to someone who isn't deaf, seeing like, keep doing what you're doing. It's important because that type of thing. So yeah, very cool, very good pick. And let's see, me, I'm going to go with a super obvious one, but I'll take it while it's still on the table. With the Ninth Doctor, the Empty Child and the Doctor Dances.
Yes.
So this one, creepy as hell. And I think, this is one of those that as you get further in the season, when it could lag, it picks up and you're just like, wow. This is the one with the little boy with the gas mask. It's like, are you my mommy? And it's creepy as hell. It's scary. This is the first Steven Moffat, right? Yes.
Yes. Yep.
And
it is.
It introduces Captain Jack. Which we're talking about representation. It first is. I mean, I guess it'd be like openly queer person, but like he is like intergalactically interspecies. Like it's even more than. And I loved this when I first saw it. And the I think like doesn't Rose like say something about like is he gay or whatever? He's like no, he just doesn't see like he's into any species type thing, gender or anything. And I was like, that's cool. That's a cool way of being more progressive than progressive with things of that on the show, especially in this was 2005 2006 for us in the US. So very cool on that. But the horror element, which is what we're talking about here, has this empty town with its it's during bombings in World War II. And this kid that are you my mummy hanging out a front door, ringing doorbells, you have the creepy phone voice and everything. You go to once again hospital beds with creepy people. Like Doctor Who and hospital is not a good combo. There's always possessed people or something there. It happens in the 11th hour. So this one has a nice resolution to it. Everybody lives, but up till that, man, the horror of this thing, and it does the Doctor Who thing of the scary thing isn't as scary as you think. It's not out to, it's got a nice reasoning and stuff behind it, which is the heart of Doctor Who, where it's like, no, the monsters may look scary, but that's what, they look to us on humans on the outside. Why does anyone ask them what they want? That's kind of the crux of what a lot of Doctor Who is, and that's I think on display here with this one. But it's a very fun two-parter, and the first part will creep you out intensely, I think. But
yes,
it's a good one. So that's my number 6.
I love it. That's a really good pick as well.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Weethus Pagan, and I'm from Northwest Indiana. I have been a Doctor Who fan since 1975. Of all the stories in Doctor Who, I would say growing up as a kid and even as an adult, my favorite story that would fit under horror in the classic series would be the horror of Fang Rock, mainly because the atmosphere. To me, that was just really cool and creepy at the same time of it taking place in the lighthouse. However, for the newer series since 2005, Midnight would be the one that takes the cake. I absolutely love that episode because of the psychological horror of it. Not so much that you have this monster that you can see that's attacking everyone, but it's more of a monster that you can't see, and how it seems to be somehow controlling people or leaping from one person to another, creating a larger and larger sense of paranoia. In many ways, it makes me consider or think of Lifeboat by Alfred Hitchcock, and also an anime that was called They Were 11. Both of those, again, very much psychological stories. And for me, being a horror buff, it's pretty hard to get me scared with movies. And with Doctor Who, it's the psychological terror that's the best.
My name is Tara. I would say probably the "Are You My Mommy" episode with the gas mask baby. Until you figure it out, like, it just seems very creepy. And then your kids start saying, "Are you my mommy?" all day, and you're like, that's kind of creepy.
My name's Colton Garrett. Midnight. It's the doctor digging himself a hole that he can't get out of, and he needs the help of somebody who doesn't even know him in the end of the story.
My name is Sarah Ann Bennett, and Scariest. I think one of the more unsettling episodes is The Empty Child. That 9th Doctor episode, that one kind of creeped me out. And as a bonus, when I was younger, the regeneration scene in the TV movie creeped me out too. That's a little added thing. Waist just twists around, like, ah! But The Empty Child is a creepy one, I would say.
Hello, my name is Albert Smith. I don't know about scary, but the one that scared me as a child was when Castrovalva and when the Master had put Adric behind that curtain and he was like torturing him. And as a little kid, that scared the crap out of me because like a younger kid was being like tortured by his mind and stuff. So I think that for me, or when Adric died in Earthshock, that was pretty scary.
So now to number 7 for you.
This is going to be a weird one, but I'll explain why I chose this. Legopolis.
Oh, I actually had I had that as an option. Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I'm going to agree with you. Yes.
It freaks me out. So I remember watching this episode for the first time ever and being like, what the hell is happening? Because I had seen this is back when you couldn't get Doctor Who episodes except on YouTube where they weren't getting flagged. So right. So I watched a bunch of 3rd Doctor into 4th Doctor and then all the 4th Doctor and then, this. So to understand the framing of this, sure. Did I have the framing? Absolutely. However, is this a terrifying prospect for many reasons? Absolutely. So you have a version we have a version of the Doctor that's like a ghost version of him. It's not that, but that is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. Going, well, you should regenerate now. You have gone past your time. I'm just going to stalk you until you die. Terrifying. Yeah. That's a terrifying prospect in the first place. And then his poor companions were like, what the hell is happening? what is going on? And I think it's sort of like, and then the just sort of tonal shift to like early Fifth Doctor where they're just carrying him around in the pod. Like, what do we do with this guy? He's so ridiculous. But yeah, it's very off-putting because and you also had I was not alive during this time. But I know as a fan and a viewer, this had to have also been an off-putting episode because you have this long-term actor in this role who you love and you have an affinity with him and it's so good. You maybe, I don't know how many people knew he regenerated in this episode because we didn't have the internet then, but we didn't have the way to send a message necessarily to a different country. However, it had to be like a very upsetting thing to see. And I think that all of those things have to be accounted for when you're thinking about this as a scary episode. It's, I don't want to say a loss of trust, but if you're watching this, there's a sadness, there is a fear, there is a uncertainty about how you will love the next person. And perhaps any person who has ever watched this show has felt that when the Doctor has regenerated that you liked, and that kind of dread. Will I like this next person? I don't know. It does play into this, but I do think it is a very, very interesting and weird and a thing that people still theorize about with the Doctor having a ghost version of themselves following them around. That is so weird. It's just so weird.
That Watcher is the
Yeah.
creepiest thing, and he's in the
It
film
is.
scenes. He's only in the film
Yeah.
scenes, so it's like, yeah, he's even creepier because the way they use
Yeah.
film, and then it goes to PAL, and it's like just for us in the United States or North America, it's weird to look at.
Right.
And
Like, what is this? This doesn't
it's
look
like-
right. Yeah.
He's in the distance. It's like, what is this thing? And then you're a child that you've been growing up with Tom Baker. He comes and like takes your hero from you. But it is so creepy. It is when I talk about like, I don't think it's trying to be horror or as creepy as it was.
No.
And it is mortifying. And luckily for them, because it's so funny the way they did the regenerations and stuff, where it was like he sits on it, he lays over his body, he becomes Peter Davison, and then Peter Davison just pops up and it's like credits. It's like we didn't even get like a line, we didn't get like, hey, just like a scene to get people like, oh, who's this guy? It just pops up, and then luckily like ratings skyrocketed from that. They lucked out. Like Peter Davison like more than doubled what Tom Baker's final season is very low rated when I've looked back at the ratings and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Peter Davison is like, boom. It was, it was big again. And I don't think people are like, a lot of people don't realize that, but it worked. But that final season of Tom Baker's, I have always said, like, and especially that ending, like, I think it's aged into something I appreciate for what it wasn't intending to be, because it's like, if I feel like I want to say, like, between season 17 and 18, when we catch up with Dr. Romana, many adventures have happened. He's kind of extended his time a little bit too long. He's older. He wears a new outfit, and it looks like what somebody would like mythologize him as. Like, it's like this, full color, like the colors all go together. It's like a hero uniform, and he's going through his last. He's tired. He's old. He loses Romana. Like everything's ending for him. It gets younger at the end, and he finally is like, and it's like, yeah, this is it. I can't run no more. And he goes. But they never wrote it that way. But years later and stuff, and the way you see it, like, it looks that way in my eyes. I'm like, it's kind of brilliant in a way it never intended to be brilliant. But
absolutely, I think extremely good, like, study of a piece of media. You can get so much from that episode, like, so much. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so good. I'm glad you picked that. It's like, 'cause you're like, it's kind of crazy. Look, I'm like, no, that
Weird.
Watcher is scary as hell. So
Yeah.
yes,
I hate this and I love it at the same time. I really hate it, but I love it.
yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, one of the saddest regenerations in my book. Yes, for sure.
It is. It a very just a lot of emotions. Absolutely.
Yeah. So my next one is going to be based a lot on the monster in the episode. It's a Doctor's first story, and it's the Third Doctor Spearhead from Space, because those Autons are creepy. The mannequin, they're a mannequin thing. They have the whole predating it, but not to keep with John Carpenter here, but I am a big John Carpenter fan. But the mannequins have that Michael Myers blank face look to them, and I think that's there was a movie in I think it was the 60s called Eyes Without a Face, about a girl who got in a car accident, has a mangled face, and she wears a mask over it that's blank face, and it's really creepy as well. But it's got that kind of impact with it. And the Autons, their mannequins come to life. They have like this gun in their hands. They take place of people, but just like the idea of them, seeing them on film. This whole thing was shot on film. So once again, film in the UK transferred to PAL creeps Brandon out. It's the story of my Doctor Who love. But this one, it does have some goofiness. John Pertwee with the tentacle around him. Say, I get it. But this one sort of also sets the tone for the season, which is a really more serious season. It has a great companion, Liz Shaw, who is capable. She's a scientist. She's able to stand toe-to-toe with the Doctor and not just be, the screaming companion that you would get a lot back in the day. But she adds a lot of value, and then she was gone after one season because of she was pregnant, but also they wanted someone a little bit more damsel in distressy in the writing. But that was the 70s. When all the boys ran the show. So, but I do like and there's also Terror of the Autons, and of course, Rose has Autons as well. Just creepy invention. So that's my number 7.
Yeah. That's a good one. My next one is gonna be low-hanging fruit, but I feel like if I didn't bring it up, it would be a shame. The Impossible Planet.
Oh, okay. Thief. All right. Possible Planet, Satan Pit. Yes.
Yep, Satan Pit. Yep. So this not just any singular episode in this two-parter is such I do think why Russell T Davies was able to do 73 yards, because this is one of the last. Yes. And I've seen people talk about this, but like truly, I think absolutely, we don't ever get an answer about what is happening in the planet, the group of people that are going out to this planet to drill. It is a question of, do we believe in metaphysical things, much like 73 yards, or is this just an alien application of something that humans have described, have ascribed to something that they don't know? And it's very cool. I think a little like when it came out, I know people criticized it for being clumsy, but I think if you go back and watch it now, it is not. I think it is a very well executed horror episode of a show that was not at the time setting itself up to do any of this, and they were like putting a toe in the water to go, what should we do these things? And midnight had not happened yet, none of those episodes. We know like the Ood being possessed is terrifying. People being possessed is terrifying. Just this inexplicable entity that is at the bottom of this planet, not literal bottom, but inside. Just what is, and as they're sort of falling into a black hole as well, all of it is just terrifying as a thought process. Not just existential dread and horror, but you have a very interesting element, in my opinion, to like a human application of what is the devil? Who is the devil?
Right.
Is that the devil? Is that the devil? Is this why people think this is the devil? We don't know. And I like it. That's great. Yeah.
No, that's an excellent pick. And it also has the people with the markings on the face, which is
Yep.
just, oh.
Yeah.
Yep. That image in its own is like, what's this from? It's like, that's from Doctor Who. No, yeah, watch Doctor Who. It's awesome.
Yep.
That's kind of, yeah, that is what it, yeah, definitely reminds me of. Very good pick. Yeah, had that one down myself.
Makes sense.
And very much, yeah, the reasons you explained, I agree. Good stuff there. Yeah, creepy stuff. So number 8, I'm going to go Fifth Doctor and Kinda, which is a story.
Yeah.
One of my metaphysical stories, one of my weird out there ones, but I've always been attached to this one, and it's a lot of the horror and stuff comes as Tegan being possessed.
Okay.
The Mara, that's
The
what it is.
Mara.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Whew, it becomes a big snake in the end. Big rubber snake. But the sequences, I mean, her possessed one, but the sequences that are in this realm where she's talking to the people and like it's this, they've done something with the video in there and it's very unsettling, very weird. Only shot on video could pull this off, but it really sets back and it has your brain questioning like, what is this and how does this work? And just having a companion turning evil. I know we've had possessed companions before, but having one that has a attachment to it like this, and it comes back in Snake Dance later, which I don't think Snake Dance is near as creepy as Kinda, but it really works for me. And this is a weird story because Nyssa is like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'll stay in the TARDIS because they didn't write me in and they don't want to pay me for it. Serial. But it's another example of someone pointed out once in that I was listening to or reading that Peter Davison has the most crowded TARDIS, and he's never with his companions. His companion is always somebody just there for that story.
I mean, that's not untrue. Yeah.
And he's got this scientist woman in this one, can't remember her name, that he's with, because they're at this base, and there's like a wooded area and stuff. But like, yeah, this one, the Tegan Mara stuff is mainly why I picked this one, because I think it's creepy.
That's cool. That's a good one.
Hi, it's Nick Seidler. I'm at Doctoberfest 2025. What is the scariest episode of Doctor Who that I've seen that is not Blink? And I lean a little bit towards the episode Midnight. In that story, there's a scene where the Doctor is talking with everybody and they're trapped inside the crawler that's on the surface of Midnight. And the Doctor, we all know, is one of the few people that can save everyone. And it just so happens that the mob mentality takes over. And what ends up happening is that everybody kind of revolts against the Doctor, and they're going to be the person to throw him out of the ship. And so even though he's the person that can save them all, and even though he himself is the highlight and the person who can really be the redemption, they turn on him and they're about to kill him, quite frankly. And that is kind of a scary concept. I think we always need to be worried about mob rule, and I think we should all be devoted to doing the right thing and helping people. I think the Doctor would say the same. I think we are judged by how we treat the least of people. So if you care about justice, you should always stand up for the people who are the weakest and need your help the most. So that's probably more in depth than I think you might have expected, but I think it's important for us to say that.
My name is Noel Bird. It's the one where they're in that little, they're on a planet traveling. It's Matt Smith, I believe, and they are being intimidated by something on the outside of this little pillar pod that they're being transported in on a dirt desert planet. And they don't know what the enemy is outside. And eventually one of the crewmates sacrifices herself at the end to a giant blinding light at the end. We never find out what that enemy is, I don't believe. And that always really threw me off. Or maybe the episode when you first meet the Watcher, not knowing who he is when the Doctor is all-knowing. That's weird, where we know everything. So that's a good one.
My name is Ryan. What is the name of the episode? Is it The Nameless Child? No. With the gas mask kid? The Empty Child. Thank you. Appreciate it. Got to be The Empty Child.
Clay Swain, I am from Brownsburg. That's a good one. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the title. But there was the pit, and everybody had like the HVAC suits on. That one creeped me out. But yeah, Silence in the Library is also good. The silence were creepy. Yeah, that's a good question.
My name is Justin Nyquist. I'm going to have to go with the one that terrified me as a kid, and that was probably, retrospectively, not that terrifying, but the episode with the mandrels. Oh, no, I'm going to strike that. Scariest episode is definitely Warrior's Gate, with the evil robots and the lion people and space imploding, so on and so forth.
My name is Jacob Bennett. It's not Blink. Honestly, it's another Angel episode, but it's the two-parter from 11's first season again. It's the one where they're all trapped and the statues are coming after them. The whole caverns are full of angels coming after them. That's a pretty scary one, too.
My name is Stephen Warren Hill. Scariest that is not Blink. I'm going to say the most unsettling of episodes is World Enough and Time, the Doctor falls. That was a two-parter? Or am I confusing the second part with another story? I can't. World Enough and Time. So with the classic early Cybermen, and seeing that transition and seeing those people and hearing the pain, it's horrific, and it's a different kind of scary than a jump scare. It's a different kind of scary than a monster. It's the fear of losing your humanity and being in trouble and nobody there to help you. That's scary. So that's what I'm going to go for.
Yeah, so we are on number 9 for you.
Okay, I am going, because I want to be a little bit campy with my answer for number 9, Mummy on the Orient Express, because I love this story. It is suspenseful. It is very formulaic in its presentation, but I do think it has really good narrative elements. It's also the first episode that I was like really into Capaldi, which maybe is bad. I don't know if that's bad or not. But I was like, oh no, I get it now. It was like the episode that it clicked for me in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like it does speak to like sort of classic, they're overt horror elements where there is literally a mummy. And the joke is the Agatha Christie book. But
yes,
there is like a horror element to it where if people are targeted and they're going to die progressively, there is a supernatural element to it. And until the very end, you do not know why this is happening. And so, much like other Doctor Who episodes that have themes like this, it is the teasing of, is this, which in the Shooty era, we have seen, maybe it's more supernatural than we think. But it is normally like an alien life form, it's an alien technology, there's something going on there. But it's always really well crafted to make us question. And I do think that this episode does a really good job of balancing those things and also leaving us in suspense as to who's going to get targeted next. and what the Doctor's going to do about this at the end of it.
That's very good, very good. And you have, let me check it here. You got 1, 2, you got 3 Capaldi stories in your 10.
Yes, I do. I do
keeping
love
at
a
home.
Capaldi horror. Yeah. In fairness, I didn't choose one of the Jodies or the Jodie episode that you had said, so I was like,
Oh, that's fair. No. It's good. I was
But
just like,
Capaldi has a lot of they're dark. They're
yeah,
dark stories.
yeah,
He's just all in on that. Yeah.
yeah. They definitely. Okay. My number 9 pick, I'm going to go with Curse of Fenric.
Nice.
From the 7th Doctor, mainly because this is like in classic Who, this is the closest we get to like zombies. Possessed. You get like the possessed people. They look creepy. You've got monsters, and then you got like possessed looking people with this wonderful makeup job. Especially the 2 women that just it's unsettling. It's like if you're a kid on like watching late night TV, it's gonna be hard to go to bed at night after watching them on the beach coming at Ace and stuff looking for you. It's got some Viking curse stuff to it, but it's there's some Hammer horror elements to the production design and story with it, and but the monsters feel kind of unique to Doctor Who itself. And it's just, this is just nightmare fuel. And you could actually, what I like about Curse of Fenric is like you could make like if you're making some sort of like Halloween mixtape video for like the background of your party, you could take clips of Curse of Fenric and it'll like fit perfectly, and people will be like, "Whoa, what was that from?" or whatever. I didn't see that horror movie. It's like, no, it's Doctor Who, and that's primarily why I picked it because it's creepers, and it's definitely got this like I was a kid. I was a kid in the 80s, and my teen years were the 90s and stuff. But like this is the kind of stuff like that. Late night TV, like being a horror nut, like, oh, what is this kind of thing? Would try. I didn't see Curse of Fenric or till I was much older, but this is the kind of stuff I would stop on a station and be like, oh yeah, I want some of this. And retroactively, people making like a retro horror would be good to study what Curse of Fenric looks like. I would, if they're trying to make something that looks retro and old with long fingernails and everything. So and it's a good story too.
Yeah,
it's good story on its own. But yeah, this is primarily because like this is like vampire, zombie, whatever you want to, and it's kind of got elements that remind me. If we're gonna go John Carpenter, The Fog, because you got like trying to break into that had like ghost pirates coming in from the fog, breaking into like trying to get into a church with evil secrets of the past and whatever, causing them to come around. But Curse of Fenric is my number 9.
That's a good one.
So, we are to you for your final pick.
Again, it's a regeneration story because I have feelings about those, and therefore it must be. It's Caves of Androzani for me on this one. Yeah, so it is unsettling. If you are somebody who is unsettled by, once again, just I don't know. The entire setting for this is just, to me, an absolutely terrible situation. Obviously, you have a doctor, their companion, in peril. You have villains that just they're inhuman. So it's terrifying on its own. And then it's like, oh, you're like poisoning and you have to go into impossible situations to try to cure yourself. And then you have sacrifice. It's all, again, I'm an existential horror person. To me, this is a very existential horror. There's also like societal elements in this that obviously the Doctor and Perry, they end up in a place where they're subject to what's going on around them. But to me, it's just like, it's a very just impossible, scary situation to get out of. And then you have this image at the end, which is not very horror movie, but it is very compelling, where the Doctor is carrying Perry out of the caves and then, collapses and regenerates. And I feel like there's this sort of hopelessness that runs through this episode that makes me categorize it as a horror thing.
Yeah, and he has
Because,
an evil regeneration.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
the master will like die, doctor, die,
Uh-huh.
and then he regenerates, and Colin Baker like props up, and you're like, well, let's meet the new. Oh man, I don't know about this guy. Like that's it's not like a happy thing, and he's like, change,
No.
my dear, and not a moment too. And it's
Not too
like,
soon. Yeah, exactly.
ooh. It's like, oh, this is
It's jarring.
yeah,
It's upsetting.
yeah, at the moment you think you could take a breath and be like, "Oh, the new doctor's here," you're like, "Uh-oh." So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love this story as a whole.
Yes.
Anyway, like this is one of the best regeneration stories, and like this is one that I think like somebody who maybe isn't sure about if they'd like classic Doctor Who, this one could work for them. I feel like
I think it could. Yeah.
possibly.
Absolutely.
The effects are solid. The makeup. Shara's Jack is an
Jack,
awesome
yeah.
looking character. So,
Oh,
he's an
God.
awesome looking character. I have
Yeah.
I have a figurine of him. So awesome. Like
He's so weird looking. That's the other thing
Mhm.
too. I'm like, if you don't think he looks like unnatural, I don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? Like the horror movie element.
he's like Phantom of the
situation.
Opera too. So,
Yeah,
like,
he
you have
is.
that,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah, he looks. You have a villain that looks like a horror villain
Yes.
alone, and then everything else of the actions that he is taking right to ensure what he needs to accomplish. Absolutely, yeah. It is very messed up. That is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is
Yeah.
really good. Cool. All right, my final pick. One of the shortest Doctor tenures of all time, but he delivered a scary one for me. One of my, if you'd heard about my metaphysical weird, but oddly enough, odds were probably against him. But the 14th Doctor made my list with Wild Blue Yonder because it's just a creepy episode. With, one, you're in a space station with just no clues, nobody. TARDIS is gone. What are we doing here? And then you find out you're at the edge of the universe, a cool concept. And then you have clones of, not clones, but alien life form taking the form of Doctor and Donna. And then they do weird body horror type things with the long arms and just they're not mutilation, but mutating around and delivering evil secrets, confessions to one another, copy. Like it is creepy. It's unsettling. It's weird. It's not outright horror. It's more like sci-fi terror, but it's also kind of horror. But yeah, I just love this. Like, what is this kind of concept? And it's a thrilling. It builds and builds and becomes this like thrilling fight to the finish. Toward the end, where you don't know if you picked the right Donna for a sec, and it is. It's good. Both Catherine Tate and David Tennant are excellent in here, playing two versions of themselves. And I remember they left this episode shrouded in mystery, and the fan base went rampant with, "Oh, Matt Smith's gonna cameo, and this person's gonna cameo. That's why they're keeping it secret." And it was like, nope. They filmed it in a volume, and it's just the two of them. That was the secret, but there was no tease to it, so we all got to experience it blind. And I thought that was cool, but people with false expectations might not have thought it was cool. But this one really stuck. It was my favorite of the three specials when they had the 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked the episode, and I was pretty happy with it. So
I love that. That's a really good pick. Yes.
I was like, oh, look at that. The 14th Doctor made it. But so that's the end of our list. So to repeat them, Taylor, you had Your 10 were Time of the Angels, Flesh and Stone, 73 Yards, Listen, Brain of Morbius, World Enough in Time with Dr. Falls, The Well, Logopolis, The Impossible Planet with the Satan Pit, Mummy on the Orient Express, and The Caves of Androzani. My picks were Waters of Mars, The Haunting of Villa Diodati, Edge of Destruction, The God Complex, Seeds of Doom, The Empty Child with the Doctor Dances, Spearhead from Space, Kinda, Curse of Fenric, and Wild Blue Yonder. I intentionally made mine have a different doctor for each pick.
That's good.
That's the approach I took to it, because I could have fourth doctored the heck out of it. That he had a lot of them on there. Capaldi had, you were right about Capaldi. He had a bit. 10th Doctor. Who was light on them? That isn't the 9th Doctor. 6th Doctor. Did you have any options for 6?
No, I actually
legitimate?
didn't, sadly. No.
Yeah, because I was like, Attack of the Cybermen, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Revelation of the Daleks.
That's okay. I love Colin so much, and I was like, I really want to give us a I was struggling.
I'm a big defender of his era, and the one I thought was the most horror-like was The Ultimate Foe, because it's so weird and plays with, he's in that Matrix and nothing can work, and it's that dark little town, and it's like just uncertainty, and you don't know what like the physics rules are here and stuff. So I was like, that one kind of works, but his, like, he doesn't really have something that's like straightforward horror. Like, one of my favorite stories of all time is Vengeance on Varos, but like, aside from being dark caverns, it's not really horror.
No.
I didn't really have much for the first Doctor aside from Edge of Destruction. I was like, I know it's considered to kids of the 60s probably the scariest times on television, but I was like, the Daleks don't scare me, so that takes a lot. I was trying to think about like the rescue, and I guess Master Plan, because Katarina's death and Sarah Kingdom's death, but it's like a 12-part story that isn't like based on being scary. So it was
not really.
Yeah. It was kind of tough. But yeah, 4th Doctor had a lot for me. But that was during the, Hinchcliffe era, which is, they were all about being scary for a lot of it. And then, so, but yeah, I did have Logopolis there. So that was awesome. I was like, that's a good pick. So very, very
I love
cool.
it. No, it's great.
All right, so awesome. That is our list complete. What did we get wrong? Tell us. What was wrong? What did we miss on our list?
Yeah, please fight me in the comments. No, I will dialogue with you. No, fight us.
Yeah, fight us if you dare. So all right, thank you, Taylor, so much for joining me for this. I hope you'll come back sometime for some more fun. And I also look forward to seeing you at Chicago TARDIS next month. Until next time, where can people keep up with you?
You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and my handle is They Seek Her There, like the Scarlet Pimpernel, but just a difference. And on my business's page, Logan Arch Chicago, or you can just follow Chicago TARDIS, because we would love to have you at the con, especially if you're in the Midwest or local to the Chicago area. Next month, we have Christopher Eccleston. He is coming. You can see him. You can talk to him. He will be talking about many things. You will have a great time, and you will be able to meet so many awesome people there. Many people who love different things about Doctor Who, sci-fi, everything. Our community is very big and is very diverse, and I think you would have, if you love Doctor Who and you're local, you would have a great time.
Yes, I co-sign for sure. All right. I'm on the socials at Brandon4KUHG. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can watch episodes as well as check out my 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD reviews and other bonus material things that aren't on the podcast streams. Next week, we have more Doctor Who stuff for you as my coverage of Doctoberfest 2025 and the release of Fantastic will be coming to you, and then in November, since I've just been nothing but Doctor Who, if you want to know what's after that, November, Aaron Newirth and I will be doing a series of episodes I'm looking very forward to recording, revolving around physical media. So, thank you all for tuning in, and as always, stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.